Out cutting out queen cells on this gorgeous sunny day. We had a nice little drop of rain last night, and the clover that is left has been rejuvenated, so that is now giving a little bit of nectar again. I've just come to this apiary here where I'm going to be doing a lot of mating here next year because I'm having to move a little bit. But I wanted to show you this. This is a teasel. Now, when I trimmed the ground here in front of this hedge, I left this because I know my bees absolutely love it. And I wanted to show you this because Teasel is quite an extraordinary plant. Look at those bumblebees on that. I've seen a lot of honeybees on this as well. But obviously this is nearly finished, this one. But what I love about it is obviously it's great for bees and all the other wild bees around. It's also great for birds in the autumn, especially the seed eaters like the finches. If you look at this top here, inside there is where all the seeds are, and you see goldfinches on these, and they absolutely love tearing these to shreds. So it's a fantastic food giving plant. The family name is Disbacus, and it's actually from the group of plants known as the Caprifoliaceae group, which is also the honeysuckle, strangely enough. But I absolutely adore this plant because architecturally it's lovely as well, because you can stick these in a vase in the winter and they look amazing. You know, but obviously you want to wait till all the seeds have gone off them, but they're just a great plant to leave. It does no one any harm. The farmers don't particularly like them, but you know, it's such a great plant for nature. Look at these gorgeous bumblebees. So while I'm here, I'll also show you what I've got in my apiary. I did this a couple of years ago, but now things are moved on a bit. This apiary is a bit bigger, but you can see we've got sloe, which is from the common blackthorn, which I forget the Latin name now, but that's all coming into full size now. The berries, you can see it on everything. And also here's the blackberry, which is obviously nearly finished flowering. There's a little bit of flower left. And there's the berries that are coming into, starting to ripen up. Some are nearly ripe. I had a couple the other day from another tree. Here we have a lot of rose bay willow herb, which is just about finished as well. It gets darn tall at the end of it all. But it's just lovely to see how awesome these hedgerows are, because you can see they give so much food for the birds, you know. Absolutely packed full of berries. Look at that. If you're one of these people that believe the signs of a full tree full of berries is going to be a hard winter this coming year, well, we're in for a real snorter of a winter if that's the case, because the trees are packed with them. It's probably because we had a load of water in May, which gave them the moisture they needed for the fruit to really ripen well. This whole apiary I got here is absolutely surrounded by berries, and look at all this lot. I mean, I think there'll be people in here trying to scrump this lot, and I can't say I blame them. It's absolutely full of berries. So anyway, now we're going to do some the job in hand, what I'm here for. We're going to cut out some queen cells from some nukes. All these nukes you can see with the band around them. There's one there, one over there, 3 here, and I've got a load down the far side there, which I'll show you after. They've all been put here because basically I'm bringing them here for mating. So let's get on with that. So I finally got my smoker lit. A bit of problems today. Just the way it is with beekeeping. Always a challenge, most things. I love this hive tool, by the way. If you're ever doing a lot of nuke work, these are made, or I know they are supplied by Logar. They're not really a UK or Europe, an American hive tool. They're more European. They've got a really awesome hook on it, so you can basically lift out frames that, I know there's other hive tools out that are punched out that have got the hook on, that are really useful. If you're doing lots of work with mini nukes, you can just hook that frame straight out, and it's really, really handy. And I love it because they really are kind of, you learn the geography of it pretty quickly when you hold it in your hand. It's dead good. So these are nukes I made up on the 17th. A little bit late getting to them. I'm worried that some of these queen cells may have started to hatch out. If they have, I'm on a virgin hunt. But I've got cells coming out in 2 days. This is not very pretty doing this. You basically whiz through these, take out any queen cells. That was the frame of pollen and rubbish I put in. pollen and honey. Some of them don't have queen cells. Some of them do, but this is broods hatching out nicely. They're fairly settled, these bees actually. You have to go through them all, every one. Shake all the bees off if there's loads of bees. When I did pick the frames, I tried to pick the frames that were basically complete slabs of brood and didn't have any larvae in them, but obviously it's virtually impossible to get that in every colony, but you do get to the point where sometimes the bees forget to make a queen cell when they should do, and before they know it, it's too late. There's one, look, and that one has been damaged, so that queen will never hatch, luckily. But that's the only one I can see here, and there's no place where they've torn any down, so I presume this is now hopelessly queenless. The whole idea is I don't want F3s and F4s in my apiaries. I want F1s, because if they do go to F2s, they're manageable. If they go to F3s and F4s around here, they can be atrocious. What I'm going to do is, well, I'll get one to show you. I have a feeder here, a round top feeder. Okay, they all get put on every single colony. They might not need it right now, but as soon as that queen starts to lay, she's going to want a flow of nectar coming in. As soon as there's brood, they're going to need extra food, because that food in there won't last. And also the chances of the queen being accepted, if the colony has a readily supply to nectar, are much better. She will always be accepted generally if they're hopelessly queenless and they've got nectar. Also, I can lift up. What I tend to do is when I want to give pollen sub, I lift up one side of this, I put a little bit of pollen sub there, close that back down, and there you are. Another case of Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, blah blah blah. Hey presto, a nuke. It's as simple as that, but you have to get your timings right. Okay, so I'll check these other ones here. See what this one's like. A few more bees in this one. See if we can find some queen cells. A lovely load of pollen here. There's a queen cell. There's a queen cell. I'm going to shake the bees off this. This is what I wanted to see more. So on one side, generally you won't have any. But on the other side, this is the classic, the absolute classic emergency cell. These little stubby cells that they make. There's the queen. She's still white. Not even pink eyes yet. She's just fallen on here. Perfectly formed. Should be hatching in 2 days. Here's another one. The same state. If you can see that. There you go. There was the queen. So it's the little stubby cells that catch you out. You can put a really nice queen in that's already mated, thinking you'll make this hopelessly queenless, and you miss those tiny little stubby cells that are in the brood there. Because most of the cell is actually up into the brood. They've drawn it out more. They're not like big acorn-sized cells that you often see that are more typical, you know, a bit like more swarm cells. But they're the ones that will get your queen. And we have a name for those, but I can't repeat it because they are little, whatever you want to call them. But the bees, they're doing their job. They are trying to renew their queen they've lost. This is exactly what we want. Nice frames. Shake the bees off. Nice lot of bees there. See, I did pick a frame here with a bit of drone, but I don't really mind because those drones from this colony are actually quite nice. You see the nurse bees there. This is the difference in colour. If you don't know what nurse bees are, they're referred to as nurse bees because when they're born, they do the job of a nursery worker in the colony. They do all the cleaning, they look after the queen, they feed the larvae, they move on to wax building later on as they're a bit older. But for the first few days they do the duties inside the colony, and that's what they look like when they're just born. They're kind of just white a little bit, and they're just milling around. That's just come out. That'll start, that bee there, she'll start work pretty quickly. Within a couple of hours she'll be doing little jobs around the colony. She's just a born worker. And when you see a lot of those, it's good news because that means your brood's hatching out nicely and you've got a good percentage of nurse bees that are going to really get that colony going quickly. And wear gloves when I do this because I haven't got time to mess around. It's a boom, boom, boom. That's the kind of cells I wanted to show you. This is the absolute classic, okay? There you go, emergency cells in a cluster. And here's some, these aren't closed, but you can just see all that lovely royal jelly. Sometimes I do collect it, but this year it ain't happening. There's these cells I'm talking about, emergency cells. Absolutely classic. So they have to come off. This colony is now hopelessly queenless. And yes, I do tend to throw a lot of the wax on the hedge, but for me, it gets it out of the way. I've watched people collect every little bit of wax all year, and you know how much they have at the end of it? They might be, if they're lucky, if they get 1/4 kilo of wax after collecting it the whole year. The mice will eat it, the insects will break it down, whatever. It's just, you haven't got time when you're a beekeeper. It's a natural product, it breaks down in the environment. It's not causing anyone any problems. That's my frame of brood. They haven't started drawing up yet. So my frame of foundation. They're all going to have feeders on. Everything will be fed. I've got about 60 kilos of liquid feed inside the truck. I'm going to move this camera and filming to the far side now, and I'll do it on a time lapse so you can see me doing them all. But basically that's what I'm doing. I'm just going through, taking out queen cells, making them hopelessly queenless, because my first virgin's going to hatch in 2 days. Which is, would have liked to have had them a day earlier, but hey ho, as long as I've got virgins to hatch, that's brilliant. If they have to wait 2 or 3 or 4 days more, it doesn't matter, because those colonies now are hopelessly queenless, but they've still got some brood to hatch and some larvae to finish developing, because I chose frames that had a little bit more larvae on them. So once you've got over that initial, let's make a new queen cell, they'll hold themselves to becoming laying workers. They will not start laying drone larvae for a good couple of weeks yet. So that means I can get that queen in, and as soon as that queen's in, that's it anyway. It doesn't mean she's going to lay straight away. Obviously, she's got to go off and mate. But as soon as that queen is in and she's accepted, we won't ever think about starting to laying workers. It's just basically getting them mated. The forecast for the next few days is absolutely brilliant. A few highs and lows in temperatures, but that's fine. It's not going to be raining much. We're not going to have cold weather. Up to 26 tomorrow, back to 21s, 22s the next few days, then up again at the end of next week to 28, 29 for a few days. So I'm very, very happy with that. It means that they all go off and start mating, and typically they will all be mated by day 5, day 6 in an ideal world and with the best conditions. Sometimes they can take a week, sometimes they take a little bit longer, but in most cases it's on day 5, day 6 they'll start mating, and they'll all be done pretty quick. It's surprising. We introduced some cells and some mini nukes, and I happened to look at one almost by mistake, and it was a laying queen after 4 days. So it just shows you how quickly that can happen, you know? So it's pretty good. Anyway, let's get this one closed back up with the feeder on and get some feed in it, and then I'll move the whole thing to the other side and we'll do it on a bit of a time lapse. These are the remaining nukes I made up last week, and they're all having their cells cut out now. It's quite a few. They're in a position where they're going to be mated as well. Because up that way is my house. It's about 800 meters away. We've got some good stocks. And there's also my main apiary up here, which has got some good stocks in. But anyway, the main thing is I feel that most of my queens mate in this valley here, which actually extends well beyond those trees, but it's a really good area. So I'm going to put the camera down and just leave me get on with this, and I'll see you after. here is what I really wanted to show you. Okay, so there's some classic emergency cells in the top of this nice frame. Okay, you can see there, a nice frame of brood. This was obviously being capped over when I made it queenless, and they decided to make cells. But these are the ones you really got to watch. You see how tiny they are? Can you imagine if you have your bees all over that, you are going to miss that so easily. And what a lot of cells there is. This is just one, the first frame I picked out, and I imagine there's others. But there you go, such is life. Once you're aware of it, you don't miss them. But those are the ones, especially that one there, you see, really hard to see because it's almost the same colour as the brood around it, and it's not very big. So last night I didn't make it back here. I had to get the last graft in for the year, which is what I did. The weather was beautiful. I nearly came down, but I knew it didn't matter. And the reason why it didn't matter because I'd done all this lot, all the first lot here, that were the dates. There's 2 lots here basically. You could divide those into 2 roughly from the top to the bottom and cut them in half. Each day they were a day apart. And the last lot here, which I've just done just now as you've seen, they are the final day of my current nukes I've made. So as you can see, the bees are really pretty pissed. They've had their queens cut out. It's windy as hell, but it's sheltered here, but the bees can't forage because it's windy, it's humid. They want to be out finding food and there's not a lot around. But you can see, I wanted to show you as well that this area is going to be an awesome mating site next year, because all this area here, that whole area over there, just where the door of my truck is, right the way around to here, I can basically use the whole of this for a mating yard, and it's absolutely fantastic because the farmer doesn't cut it for hay. Someone used to live here in a yurt before, but they had to move on because it wasn't deemed a habitation area. So there's like a bit of hard standing, but if I keep this area clear, it means I can bring my my main mating operation to here, which is actually even a better position than at home, because at home I'm only got one apiary. This is between the 2 exactly, so it's really good, and it means I will probably have better results because I'm going to put I've had mixed mating this year at home, and a lot of the queens I did on the breeder program failed to mate, so but it's still okay. We did an awful lot extra, and I'm blooming glad we did. Alicia and I worked our socks off to try and get all the mates, to try and get all the queens raised, produced in cells, grafted into cells, hatched in the incubator, and we did a fantastic job. We got a really good release, and then a lot of them didn't return from the mating. I don't know why. It may be because the weather went duff for those 6 days. But anyway, cut a long story short, it was a great learning curve again, because I learned a huge amount, and this is what I've realised is I need a more designated mating area that will allow the bees to come back to more geographical points, but in full sunshine, in full open conditions, so that the bees feel they can really, the queen bees can really go when they want and not feel like impeded. I'm a little bit shaded at home in areas. I had a lot of my nukes in the same line this year, which I thought wouldn't be a problem because they were different colours and because I had little trees and this kind of thing in the way. But I'm going to probably bite off the bullet and go for it this winter and invest in a bit more time and money and make an even better place so I can have better racks. It means I can get a smoother turnover of things, you know. So what I've done now is I've fed the top lot. All these nukes are fed. They've all had their queen cells cut out. I've got queens hatching out the incubator in 2 days. And this lot I'm going to feed now. But I wanted to show you one thing quickly that is difficult to me actually show you, but what I'll show you is this. When you're pouring syrup, if you have a full, that's empty now, this bucket, okay? This bucket is now empty. But when you have a full bucket, tip half of it into the empty bucket, or start off with one half empty. No matter what funnel you've got, no matter what contraption you've got, you need to lose half of it. So tip half into an empty box, or start off with a half full tub. Then it allows you to tip it smoothly and cleanly, and you'll be quick, and you don't waste any syrup. What you don't want here is to build up a load of bees in a frenzy of feeding while you're trying to work. It is unbelievable. The robbing now, I can tell you now, Ian Stepler nailed it the other day. What did he say? Awkward, hot, sticky and stingy. It's what we're all going through this time of year. We're just trying to get to grips with the last of it. Everything's going on. Honey harvest, making queens, you know, keeping everything fed, keeping that momentum going, because you know that in 3 weeks' time, it'll all be over. And that's what we're doing, you know. It's just exhausting. I am really tired. I don't know what, because it's the end of the season, or whether because it's non-stop. But I've got another day making nukes tomorrow. That's Tuesday. Another day making nukes Wednesday, and that is it. I'm finished. I physically need to just kick back a bit and get on with. I've got some other work to do all next week anyway. So all I'm going to be doing next week is putting queens into these babies and the queens in other places. But I'm nearly there now. So let's get this liquid feed on, and then we're done for the day here, which is great. Right then, we're done. Don't let anyone tell you that the value of a nuke is too high. When you see the amount of work you have to do to make the nuke, to get the queen in, to get it mated, to look after it, to get it through the winter, it's a gift for £160 or 160 euros or higher. It is a gift to have a good queen in a box that's going to give you enough honey to make you 250, 300 pounds or euros anyway. I'm tired out, I need a break. Catch you again soon. Bye for now.